to figure out how to make that last climax more powerful.
Gotcha.
And just giving it more energy with the orchestration, and maybe add some variations to the chord progression I introduced beforehand. I think the bridges on the one hand need some fine tuning and some suggestions on how I can make a smooth transition, a smooth break that kind of loses track of the theme. And how I can really make this part more powerful, because I really haven't sketched it out at all. I think we might want to discuss that.
Okay.
And I think I'll just jump right into it, and then we can see what there's left to do. Nice.
Yes.
Right, and then there's supposed to be another climax.
Right.
And then there's supposed to be another climax, and I really don't know how to make this more intense, because this part right here feels very intense. I'm already going an octave higher on the melody.
Right.
I did change the chord progression on the choir a little bit. I might play it. It would sound like this somewhat. So you can already see that it's playing in a higher register here. I kind of changed the chord voicings a little bit.
Right.
As a sketch maybe. But I'm thinking to maybe add some French horns, because I haven't introduced those. Maybe add another theme. I don't know. A very simple theme, maybe just playing the thirds of the chord progression. I don't know. But I think French horns are going to be a very deciding factor here. And percussion as well. I think I might want to change the percussion, add some hits, some more accents, and that's just where I'm at right now.
Right. Well, you know what? For me, the overall thing feels very to the point and very succinct right now. I think that if you extended it maybe by adding one or two more sections in there, it could flesh out even more and give you more options to think about. So for example, even the bridge itself, I might even I really like what you did from 45 to 53 or whatever, or 52. I would even take the original theme, like in your beginning section, and do another one of those before going back into your big climax, for example, because it starts to bring the atmosphere back a little bit. It's like the first half of your bridge, it feels like you're starting to build a new atmosphere that we haven't heard in a little bit, right? So I think if you're in your beginning section, if you kind of put that after that, then it continues to build a little bit more, and then you can kind of drop it away, maybe do like a choir reverse or like a swell into the final chorus or something. Because right now it just feels like the bridge is slightly short to me. I would love to a little bit more of that, not dead space, but just a little calmer.
Okay.
Your first climax is like the first half, I think, is like pretty much spot on what I would do. The second half, I actually don't know if you need the choir there yet. This is one of those cases where I'm thinking less is more. I think you should save the choir for the last part.
But that's what I was thinking.
And if anything, you bring in some trombones and French horns in the second half of this first chorus, just as a little bit more punctuation. Nothing overbearing, but just like maybe do 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 do. Like just some counter melodies here and there, right?
Yeah. Okay. Nothing too wild. Nothing too wild. Yeah.
Because, nothing too. Yeah. Exactly.
I was thinking that as well. The chord just like adds a lot of energy to it, and energy I might want to use here instead of.
That's right. That's right.
Spot on. Spot on. Okay, I'm going to leave it now.
That if there's anything missing in this first climax, I would say it's some counter melody. Also the string theme is so strong that it's definitely begging for some sort of harmony, for some sort of counterbalancing. Thing.
If you would like, we could actually go over how I'm voicing the chords here and what I was thinking. So it's very root heavy, right?
Sure. Yeah.
I'm having, I mean, the violas and the cellos and the double basses in their staccato patterns are pretty much playing the root notes, you can see.
Sure.
Just in the accents are the same, but the double basses are playing slightly slower and the cellos a tad faster and the violas even faster. Everything root note. I got bass trombones in marcatos, I think.
Okay.
Playing the root note.
Yes.
I got trombones playing the root note.
Yeah.
And the choir was playing actually inversions of the chord progression itself, but this is where I added the fifth and the third. But if I get rid of the chord right now, it's mainly just the root note.
I see.
Just the root note, and I can just.
Why don't we? Let's hear all those.
Without the chord
themselves.
Right. So this is without the core.
Gotcha. Let's see. Quick little tip, actually. The very end here at like 43 or the end of 42, I noticed how you're going from B flat up to D and then back down to G after that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What are you doing in the first half? So the first half you're doing B flat down to A, then to G.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
I think the thing is I'm not really going to G here. I kind of want to like at least when it comes to about 42 to 43. I'm staying at the D. I think it's the fifth in this case, the dominant chord. I think. So I wanted to kind of let the audience feel hanging and
I see. So
thinking that the one is coming. I wanted to leave it there just for.
Gotcha.
I feel like if I would go to the G next, it would just give a feeling that the track might be ending. I didn't want that. I wanted to kind of let the listener hanging there. I see. I think the D might be a nice chord change
for
here.
sure. You can even like put in one of those arc swells on that D, like and then just like
leave it.
But
great idea.
So all three voices right now are in octaves. That's what you were saying, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Right now they're all on the root notes, basically.
Trombones, bass trombones, double basses, cellos, and violas, and pretty much the violins on top. I'm having a bass synth pulse kind of thing, playing the root note as well. So it's all about roots.
Okay. So tell you what, putting something between C1 and C2 might be a little heavy harmonically.
Yeah. Agreed.
What I might do is add in the fifth of each of those chords from between C2 and C3.
Okay. Yeah.
You know? Yeah, and then if you still think that's a little bit empty, you could even add the third above C3.
Yeah. I'm just writing that down on my text editor. So you're suggesting the fifth between C2 and C3, right?
Yeah, for each chord. And then you could even do the third above C3. Because remember, the third is the most colorful note of the chord, right?
Exactly,
so
exactly.
The higher it goes, the less I guess heavy it's going to be in the mix.
True. Okay.
So we can give that a shot and see what.
Yeah, we can actually do that with the French horns, maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
Just let me make sure that they are all legato. Yes, they are.
Right.
Okay. So let's see. We got a G chord here. That's too high. Okay, so I would either go with the B here or Let's try it out. I just experiment with the thirds for now. See how it sounds. Sure. I just hope I can play this in lifetime.
Yes. Good luck.
Better. Damn. Yeah.
Love it.
That's much better. Okay. It's funny.
You could even experiment with an octave below, and you'll see it's not so nice. It feels more heavy and clunky, right?
Let's do that actually for
why not?
Demonstration purposes, like between C2 and C3, right?
Yeah.
But damn, that's on point, the third there, because when I was what I did before, I kind of was trying to add the third on the bass trombones, and I think not the bass trombones, the regular trombones, and it just felt off. The fifth as well, it gave it more of a happy sound, and I didn't want that. I wanted to keep the tension for some reason, and that's why I was so shy of the everything that's not the root note, because it was just not nailing the vibe for me. And I guess the voicing is, and the placement of it is what matters, and the orchestration as well. The horn is perfect, and it still feels very intense without just sticking with the root note. But let's try it out one octave lower. Why not? Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, this is gonna be weird.
No worries. Yeah, we can do it. Right? It's cool, but it's a little overly gritty, I think.
Overly gritty, and I don't know, it's kind of clashing a little bit. And,
it is, a little bit. Yeah.
I just draw it in this time.
Sure.
It's a B actually. And that's, I think now that we're doing the session, if I would do it alone, I would be afraid that B flat is too close to the trombones right here. I don't have to be, I guess.
You don't have to be. No. I don't have to be. Okay. It all comes back, if you're talking about voicings and orchestration, it really comes down to the harmonic series and how much of each instrument is being played at a certain moment, you know?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now we're having A, another B. I mean, it's nothing spectacular, right? We're just putting in the third on the French notes.
It's the basics. It's laying the foundation.
Right? Yeah, and it makes such a huge difference. Pretty cool. Then we got another B. Good.
Right.
Okay, let's have a listen maybe one more time.
Sure. Yep.
I think this might be also a good opportunity to talk about modulation, maybe. Would you just, I don't know, draw it like, draw it in waves, maybe? I don't know, like this, or would you?
Sorry, when you said modulation, I thought you meant changing keys, but
no.
This works too. All right, let's see. So what I like to do is I always look at the shape of the line, right? In this case, it goes up, back down. It takes a little bit of time before going back up. So I would just copy that shape just as a default to start with. So I like you went up there, go down.
Okay.
Yeah, go down after the second one, and then rise up slowly, and then copy the shape again, go up, and then it looks like it wants to go up again at the end. So then you do that.
Okay.
Give yourself a little bit more headroom there in the middle, because you're kind of hitting the top already. You know?
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Okay. So some breaks. So I guess like this.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, I would just make the slope in the middle slightly more gradual. So I would keep it going all the way until like 41, where then it rises up to that top there. Yeah, kind of like that.
Interesting. Like that. Okay. Very vague.
Less is more.
Yeah. True. Okay.
Let's try.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's Junkie XL, so I have to see how the dynamics work here. The very wide dynamics. So it might be even too much. Let's see.
Sure.
Nice, yeah. That's cool, yeah.
It's basically like how the conductor would do it, right? It's like as the notes go higher, there's more expressive.
Yeah.
So the conductor's like, give me more, give me more. Then they come down.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, wait.
Yeah.
Then build.
Because one thing I was afraid of, if I look at the cimbassi, for instance, I kind of I was thinking that if we're talking about instrument family, that the entire brass section needs to have the same modulation. Would you say that's something that applies, or can like every instrumental section in such a case have a different modulation to a certain degree? What do you think?
Yeah, honestly, I think we should always write in our modulation manually. Like the best is during the performance.
Yeah, agreed.
So for me, by default, it's like when I play a little bit higher, I write it up a little bit, and as I play lower notes, it starts to go down a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
And it might work for all the different instruments, but the best is if you just go through each one and see what sounds the best to you.
Okay,
I think that's the best approach. I don't. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So with this chord progression here, I guess I could go in ways. Yeah, I wouldn't have to make it too complex compared to the.
That's right. Yeah. Like what you're doing here is pretty standard. If your melody is going dun 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 dun,
yeah, right.
But it's not. It's more of a linear.
So thing, I could adapt this here as well. I mean, you just said that
exactly.
The French house we're moving up here. I could do something similar here as well. I guess.
Right.
Just make. I guess, and that's the cool thing about it. This would just give us the feeling that it's going somewhere, right? If we have the entire brass section moving crescendo up a little bit, it would just sound better.
That's right. And also, I always take a look at where the highest note of the phrase is. So if it's peaking, it looks like at the very end, you're going to like the high D's, is it? Or
exactly. Yeah.
Then I would maybe even not let the modulation reach the very top until the D's at the end.
So like this, maybe, I guess.
Kind of like that, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. So the final notes actually feels like a big build.
The bass trombones are playing marcato, so it doesn't matter here really. Okay, cool, yeah. But the other trombones could benefit from that as well.
Yeah, and then a slow rise to the top. There you go.
Okay.
Kind of like that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I'll just maybe see like this. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, the fifth. What do we do with the fifth?
Yeah, so the fifth, if you don't think it's already too much, then you can try putting it between the chord, between the higher octave for each one. You can try.
I'm just thinking with which instrument I would want to do that. But I don't have to play legatos here. I mean, I could just turn this into a sustained patch.
You could. Absolutely. Yeah. I might do that. I'm just thinking another thing you could do for the very final climax is add a really high string sustain to really fill in the highest frequencies at the very top.
Yeah.
For this one here, it feels like your string melody's at the top, and then there's nothing higher than that. So I might do an additional string sustain for the very last.
So we're talking about C5 around here.
Around there, yeah.
Okay. Well, okay, cool. How high can we go? Okay, so I could actually go with a D here, I guess. Or would you go even higher? Yeah, not really, right? I think we don't want to go any higher with the horns here.
It depends on the chord itself. Like this D is okay. I mean, what is that? D3 is totally fine for the horns.
Yeah.
I generally just wouldn't go maybe above C4.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
That's like my limit.
Okay, cool. Then let's just copy paste everything.
Sure.
Copy pasta. That's a sad horn.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a listen, I guess.
All right.
really.
That, right?
Yeah.
Much more colorful.
Exactly, yeah. Cool.
And I
yeah.
honestly, I wouldn't put anything else in there after
No,
that.
not
I think
really, not
it's
really.
already
Yeah,
full enough.
that's enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something about realism. Where would you actually put in the breathing breaks? Where would
Right.
the, like sometimes I would just try to breathe out while it's actually playing in my DAW just to see where I would actually
Right.
take a breath, but I'm not sure that's actually
Yes.
anything near
Yes.
professional.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah.
The thing is, in this type of thing, especially when they're playing pad type of stuff, if it's in reality, the players would probably organize with each other. Say they would probably say, because this whole thing is kind of the pad, we don't want there to be any hard breaks in the sound.
Got it, yeah.
So they would actually say, you guys take a breath, we're going to continue playing,
Okay,
and then vice versa. You guys keep playing, we're going to take a break.
Okay.
So actually, this is not an issue. The only time it's actually an issue is where you're trying to play like an exposed melody line type of thing.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And it's more expressive. In this case, where if it's a pad or something, you don't have to worry about that too much.
Okay.
Because there's obviously it's like multiple horn players and they can always organize it that way. But if you really did want to break in the sound, I would say the halfway point in the phrase. So between 38 and 39, maybe the very last beat of 38, you can just take a breath for that quarter note and then go into 39.
Okay.
That type of thing.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I guess we got this one covered then.
Yeah, so
for the most part.
Yeah, why don't we hear it one more time from 27 again?
Yeah.
Or maybe even from the 25 or something, or there too. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So that's swell. Is that a what type of roll is that? Is that timpani? Is that like a bass drum?
I know. I think it's an audio imperial sound effect. I just
gotcha.
Check.
Could you incorporate some sort of sound design swell or like that's a G note, like
I guess I could. Yeah, I just don't have anything prepared right now. It could be
like something light. I would probably use something like Elijah for it personally.
I write it down and save it for later because I would have to search through my libraries for that. It might take some time, but no. So you would make this swell just more intense and more colorful, low register, high register, and all that stuff. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, I just want a little more intensity. Going into your first climax here, and then in the final climax, I would then bring in the choir swell as well. In addition to that.
Yeah, good idea. Okay, nice. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So anyway, let's hear this one more time.
Yeah, needs more intensity. The percussion is something that might need some. It's pretty simple, the percussion.
Yeah.
Or is there anything besides the percussion you would love to cover firstly?
Honestly, nothing about the percussion stood out to me as being static or anything like that. I like the pattern.
Cool. I think I'm just having one pattern on every bar. The only thing I'm doing differently here is that as the small percussion actually. And then bar 35.
Right.
Just has a 16th notes in there.
Sure. Yeah, one thing I think would be cool is like in the second half of this climax, you could do a really heavy snare hit, like a do.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That type of thing.
Yeah, I tried to do that with the cymbal crash right here. It's not as intense
cymbals,
though.
Yeah, the cymbals can only do so much. It's more like a cymbal combined with a crack, combined with a snare, combined with something else.
Exactly. Okay. Always adding more.
Well, yeah. Sometimes you have to add more, sometimes you have to take away. But this is one of those cases. Like we took away the choir, but in order to give the percussion some more punch on the offbeats or on the backbeat, you could do more of that on the 2 and the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, just a little bit,
Okay, nice. Okay, then I guess we got this one covered for the most part, at least the climax here.
Right.
I have to say that I'm not too sure about the intro right now. Mainly in terms of fine-tuning, I like the idea, I like the structure, but I feel like it's missing something, so I could just maybe play
let's do it.
from bar 5 on. So yeah, there's I think bar 9 to 17 on is fine.
Yeah. Okay.
I just feel like something in this section here is missing. Bar 17 to 25. I tried to add some sustain elements with that legato pattern. I don't even know if it's realistic with those tiny swells here and playing the notes twice. Adding the low brass, the cimbassi and bass trombones. I don't know.
Right.
Anything that comes to your mind here?
You know what? For me, I don't think you even need that violin legato there.
Yeah.
What I would do is I would do a string pattern, but I would make it maybe an octave lower, and I would make it a little more interesting as well. Maybe like dun, 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 dun. So it's not quite a melody, but it at least gets a listener.
It's something, yeah. It's
listening to something. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Okay, so just
so I like the additional percussive elements you're adding. I'm just thinking like maybe a more interesting string line that you can throw in there that starts a little bit lower, because then the actual theme, the melody, comes in when you get to your first climax, right?
Great idea. So
and that's what they've been waiting for.
Okay, so your suggestion, something that doesn't really establish as a theme, but something that just establishes as a accompaniment of what we already have.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. It's more of like a motive or something. So it's like dun, dun. So I'm thinking you can even do this in the violas or kind of the higher cello maybe. This is around the middle C register. So I would do something like dun, dun, dun. So B flat D, B flat D, F, D, G, B flat, A, C, A, that type of thing, you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
Going up in thirds and going back down.
Okay, makes sense. Sounds good. Besides that, I guess
besides that, I don't, because originally I was maybe going to suggest an ostinato, but then I was thinking maybe it might be a bit too active for your intro. So then I thought about this motive instead.
Yeah, makes sense.
But in terms of the other stuff, I don't think there's anything much missing, because I like that the fact that there's no really clear defined melody yet, and it still sounds like an intro, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
Harmonically, you might say, okay, it's a little bit empty, but hey, you're giving it room for the thirds to come in the climax, you know? And
I could maybe add a fifth or something like that, I guess.
That's true. Do you feel like something's missing harmonically, or did you think that something is like a melodic element that was missing?
It was the melodic element. Like I needed the suggestion you just made that I should maybe add a pattern or something that just feels slightly melodic, not too complex, not too much, just to add some groove to it, I guess. I think that was the main aspect. Maybe an extra harmonic voice playing the fifth note of the chord. Each chord at best. But besides that, I like the percussion. It's not too complex. It's going somewhere, and I also wanted to go up to the D here because just
the suspense.
Yeah, the suspense, exactly. But besides that, the melodic.
I like it. I don't think there's anything else I would really change about it in that case. The other thing is, for when those French horns and trombones come in climax 1. You could also consider making them a sort of rhythmic pattern, like dun 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 dun. They don't have to be sustains. They could be slightly longer notes, but
would be more interesting. Yeah,
you can decide on that, right?
I like the idea. I like the idea. Yeah. It's just more colorful, more articulations and everything. That's
cool
idea.
Okay. Might be worth it. Who knows?
Might be worth a try. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, or maybe you do that on the final chorus. Who knows? You could always try that rhythmic pattern. Yeah. So in terms of the final one, the main things I would add are the choir. I would also add a high string sustain, and then you could even do a mid-range type of ostinato, maybe in the violas or another cello patch. That's nothing like overly busy, but it gives the listener something to feel more.
Exactly, more movement and more development. Yeah. So I think that's one thing. I think like the rhythmical aspect of it, mainly the ostinatos here, it was what gives the tracks its makes this track recognizable, or kind of makes sure that the different parts are kind of glued together and it feels as the same track. Let's just say I would add an ostinato pattern here. Would you also keep those accents I have, or would you also change those?
Okay, yeah, let's have a listen. Let's double check.
Yeah. Just solo them maybe.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes like this. So nothing too wild, but like I have the same pattern in the intro. Would you? So I was only like, would you organize your ostinatos based off the rhythm or the other way around? In this case.
I usually think of it melodically first. So however my whatever notes I want to include in the melody, usually when I change notes, it's going to have a sort of stress on those changing notes. So maybe if it's like a dun 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 dun, you know what I mean? That type of thing. That's where I would put the stresses. In this case, you have to put stresses in there because you have a whole bunch of repeated notes, so you kind of have no choice. But if you made the notes slightly different here and there on those stresses, then it would make a lot of sense.
Right, yeah.
But I always think melodically first, like where is the ostinato where does it want to go? And so where can I put the stresses in there that feel syncopated, but still has the downbeat as well.
Okay, cool. And yeah, I guess, I mean, I could change that with the ostinatos because I got the melody already, which was introduced the climax before, and so it should be obvious that this is the same track, right?
Yeah. What could also be cool is I think it would be like if you took the current ostinato you have right now, like all those repeated notes, moved it up a third, like put it as the third of the chord instead of the root, that would already make it more noticeable and more colorful for sure. I think you might not stick with it, but it's just an idea that just it might not fit for every chord because each.
Yeah, but we can try it out. Why not? Just have to
just make sure they're the right ones. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Let's see.
It's funny how you're doing that so quickly. Like I have to I go through and I actually listen to each third to see does that fit within the scale? No. You're just like looking at it, just moving it. That's
exactly. I just play the string section. Maybe might be easier.
Yeah. Let's go.
So it sounds like this. More color, yeah.
And this is just for the strings, right?
Right, yeah.
So now you can imagine if you make the ostinato move a little bit, then both of those voices that third apart can also move up and down together.
Exactly.
Right? And now make it even more interesting.
That would be my next question, because like if I keep it that way, I would have some issues when it comes to adding the thirds on the vocals, maybe, or the French horns when they play the chords. Would that be an issue, or would you say, well, I could just
right.
Like, I would be afraid of doubling a third here to a certain degree.
Yeah. So then for me, it would be I'd have to ask the question, what do I place the priority on? If something is the lead instrument, then I want to keep that, and then I might have to sacrifice.
Probably the vocals here, I guess. Probably the vocals.
Yeah. Also depends on the register of the vocals, though. If they're high enough, then they might not even get in the way of the.
Okay, interesting. Okay, interesting.
So yeah, look at that. You're at C4, C5 there. So that's not even in the way of that ostinato.
True.
But yeah, let's see. It's so far apart. That's great.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. Okay. would you change the percussive pattern as well to a certain degree? Would you keep the accents and add some more syncopation, and like would you further develop this part as well? Because what I'm figuring right now, we've talked about adding the vocals here, we've talked about the trenchers, then I would be stuck at bar 66. How do I make the second repetition even more intense than the one we've had here? That's my issue right now.
Right. Can we have one more listen to the first half here?
Yep. I'm thinking though, I could actually, for the first repetition, do what the vocals did beforehand in the first climax, and then have this part where it moves higher, almost an entire octave, for the second repetition. Like that was my first impulse. But besides that, yeah, I don't really have any more ideas how to go even louder.
Right. Yeah, you know what? The thing is, your foundational percussion pattern is already really solid, I think.
Yeah.
I think that because like musically, there's already so much going on in the arrangement.
Yeah, we don't want
to overload it. I feel like the percussion is already serving its main element.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd say is like, yeah, I would put in that big snare on the 2 and 4, the big like, you know, resonant hit there.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. You could always beef up like the bass drum or the low boom hits to make them even more impactful in the mix. Maybe like that could be all it takes. Because the thing is, you already have so many 16 patterns and stuff going on, and 30-second notes or all that going on in other instruments. So I don't think you need more. I think it's if anything, I would take away less in the first parts just to give it the you know, the contrast.
Yeah, right.
So but I mean, we could always try it out. Like you can copy and paste the percussion from the first climax over
great
here.
Idea. Yeah, great idea. Let's do that. I guess simplicity is key here.
I think it really is, personally. Well, let's see.
Let's just print the vocals here.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, maybe some higher velocity because they are kind of hidden, I think.
One thing you could do for at least maybe the first half is stress the and of 2, because right now you're kind of doing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. So you're stressing the 1 and the 3.
Yeah,
might be cool to mix it up and do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Cool idea.
That kind of thing. You know, and
but
then,
nothing too complex. Very, very simple, and
that's
just
right.
Just a thing or two.
Yeah, I'm not adding more downbeats. I'm just stressing different ones,
exactly.
You know?
Yeah. Okay.